when you're asking questions on that, so we're just having some examples over here. We don't want to go into a question that sometimes may be too sensitive to the customer, so we'll spread it across different aspects. And we're not saying these aspects are all layered, as in you need to go one to the other. It's just about you want to have the question to cover as many angles as possible. Right? So the angles will be, there are some questions to find out about the customer's current business situation. So without challenging the customer, no, it's more complex than that. We can just say, okay, great, this is what you need. Before we actually implement and give you the product, just want to find out, normally when you use this software, right, how many users are there? What are the kinds of users that are required? And specifically, when we talk about IT industry, are the users, how good are they in their IT skills?
But when you ask that, it's...
No, the users, not IT. Your users. And this is something that I'm helping the IT. Why? Okay, how good are the users in the IT skills? That's one question. When you are implementing any IT project software, do the users sometimes need to get support from IT? How frequent are those support? How frequent do you have to answer some very basic and sometimes what you find stupid questions from users? So this is not about IT. A lot of times when we're dealing with what is IT or any other technical people, sometimes they think that they buy something, it's for their own use, when in actual fact it's for someone else's use, and that someone else actually don't like what IT is doing. Right? Got a friend who used to work in the airline industry, and this is internal IT. So he has a huge complaint about their own IT department. Right? The comment, the feedback, the very blunt feedback he gave the IT department is, when pilots fly the plane, the last thing they want to do is to have a procedure that they have to click 3 buttons in order to get things done. If you can shrink it to 1 button, that will be great. If you can get it done without clicking anything, even better. Right? You are designing for pilots, not for yourself. Right? So these are some of the things that you need to get in a perspective, but in a way to ask them, what about users? What are the feedback? Right? What about the bosses? What are the feedback? What about customers? What are the feedback? What is it that needs to be done so that it satisfies your current business situation? So that's just to prep them. So when they give the answers like this, it's more likely that they will be more forthcoming and think about, actually it's more than just the core app, the core software. Maybe we need to have more plugins, maybe we need to have more services, maybe why don't we outsource the training, the Q&A, all the mafan user thing to you, right? And then we do less things. Right? So it could be a different array of products and services that we can approach to the IT people. Okay? So it can be a question about the IT, the customer's current business situation. It could be questions to understand customer selection criteria. Selection criteria. Usually, we ask customers. So, if you are choosing the right vendor, the right partner to work with, what will be some of your selection criteria? Guess what will come up first?
如果你们要选择一个供应商，一般你们会有哪些筛选标准？第一个会出来什么？
价格 price. Okay. Price, okay, sure, there's a common price. It's fine, and
Sales will leave to the end.
can be service, can be whatever. It's okay if the customer say price, it's normal. Price definitely will be part of the sale, right? So they say price, what we do is we follow up with the next question. What else?
除了价格，还有其他方面。
Quality.
Can be brand, can be whatever. So this is what we can find out. What are the selection criteria? Can be brand, can be service, can be track record, can be customization, flexibility, whatever.
So this is what we want to talk about when it comes to selection criteria. The third one is anything about specific product needs, what the product needs to do. Number 2 is who do you want to select to work with. 3 is about the product. What does the product need to do to fulfill your requirements? 4 is how you want to progress the sale. Progress the sale means in most selling, unless you're in a retail store, 除非你在零售的这个店面 most of selling, you probably will need to see the customers a few times before you close the sale. Right? So how do you want to progress the sale? In general terms, especially if you're selling B2B, if you're selling business to business, if you get to see the customer again, you are in the game. You have the opportunity to make the sale. If no, this is probably not functional. You're going to use someone else. Sorry. If you want to if the customer tells you your product is great, your company is great, you are great. If we have a need, we'll call you. 你产品非常好，哎呦，方程太棒了，你们公司也太棒，你也太棒了。如果我们有需求的话，我们肯定找你。What does it mean? No chance, right? So when I say that if we have a need, we'll call you. Well, what it means is that we have no need now. We won't call you. Okay? And so this is what a customer is trying to say. So if you are able to see the customer again, then it probably can. There's a chance for you to actually complete the sale. Right? So that's about progressing the sale. And last but not least, the last type of questions is only the questions you ask when finalizing the deal. 最后就是说最后面是真的要放到最后，前面4种你随意的组合都可以，最后一个真的要放在最后。The last one is you really want to put it last. These are the questions only when you really kind of feel that the customer is really wanting to buy. Then you need to ask those questions, find out how much quantity you need, when you need it, what's the price you want, how can we close it. Okay, so these are some 5 categories, just cover different aspects. So for the first one, we can ask things like, how's business? How will business be in 1 or 2 years? And this is one way of questioning besides the angle about understanding the business situation. It is also a way of asking a question. This is a question what we call a current and future state. How are things now? How will things be later? So we want to find out, is there a difference between now and later? If there's a difference between now and later, great. If there are less differences, not so great. And again, in asking questions, we also want to find out, is this a good customer that I want to follow on? Right? Is this a good use of both parties' time if we were to follow on? So we use the questions to probe and find out if there are potential needs. What are some key initiatives the company will be implementing this year? Right? And it can be, what are some of the initiatives that you foresee you will be implementing in the next 6 months? Similar to that. What are some new products that you'll be launching in the near future? What are some areas that you would like to be improved? Why are these important? 大致上，你公司哪些方面需要？你觉得哪些方面或产品哪些方面想要提升？为什么这对你更重要？ Again, the one is why are these important? It's a follow-up question. It's about we want to find out, is there a priority of needs? Which initiatives are important? Which are less important? Which are more urgent? What will happen if nothing is done? This is some questions to just understand about general business situation. And one thing to add on is, just in case if the customer just volunteer, like things like what are some new products that we're launching this year? And the customer says, oh, we're launching this one product. Is it just one product? We don't know. Sometimes we may just add on this, what else? Don't just stop the question there. One more key things we found about asking questions, and this is something that we found not from sales question, from reporters, from journalists.
if you're doing investigative reporting, 如果你是在做那个深入访谈的记者 what they really know, especially talk shows, chat shows, they really know how to use the word what else, the question what else. You just want to probe deeper. You give an answer. It may not be the full answer. Just out of curiosity, what else? We want to have more depth and more information. Two is questions to understand customer selection criteria. It can be things like if you were to work with a new supplier, what will be some of the criteria? And this is something like when the customer says, "Oh, I already have a supplier." Already. It doesn't mean that customers only can have one supplier. Customers can have more than one supplier. We don't know. But just in case, I mean, we're not saying that we will be the new supplier, but if you were to have a new supplier, what would be some of the selection criteria of having that additional supplier?
Do you have any issues with your current supplier that you wish were better handled? Dangerous.
Usually, customers will not want to share something that's directly negative, right? Two reasons.
Have to trust me.
One is, yeah, they don't really trust you that much. If they tell you immediately on the first couple of meetings, I hate my current supplier, then you know you can, in Chinese terms, sharpen your knife.
Yeah.
You know that this customer needs to buy from someone else. Slice them in pieces, right? they won't, right? On that part. The other thing is, even if the customer hates their current supplier, 就算是这个客户现在是恨透了他目前的供应商 they won't tell you why, because it is them who selected their current supplier. 就供应商就算你再怎么讨厌，你是自己选的 ，right? So you don't want to tell people how stupid I am that I select such a very crappy supplier. So usually you don't want to just ask a direct negative. What are you unhappy about your current supplier? But we want to swap it around. If you select a new supplier, what will be some criteria? What else is important? If you're able to provide better stability of quality and delivery cycles, how will that impact your business? What else? Right. What is not also mentioned here about selection criteria is that is there anything that your supplier is doing that can be done better? 目前供应商有哪些方面可以帮你们做得更好 So instead of asking them directly what you don't like about your current supplier, yeah, what are some of the things that a supplier can do better? 你直接问对方哪方面目前供应商哪方面做得不好 They will say they'll reply 还可以还蛮好没好 Right? This is what I will say.
Like so
Right? So it's a standard question, standard answer. If you were to ask them, is there anything that can be done better? Then I wouldn't say it is a surefire way of them giving you the answer you want. But at the very least, it's more likely that you can get more inputs about what things need to be improved in general.
But can I add, like, if you were to work with a new supplier, what will be some of your criteria and wishes? So
Sure.
could you do that?
Sure.
Because anyway, when he's saying that, oh yeah, would more structure or
More creative.
service or more creative, then I can actually read back and say like, okay, the supplier they're currently working with is like too less creative, is very robotic. Could you out of the wishes?
I don't think the wish list means that the current supplier is lacking in that.
Yeah.
It can also be that the current supplier is creative, and
But
if they want to have any other supplier, they need to also be creative.
Okay.
It can be a requirement and not something that the current supplier is lacking. It's just here to get them be open to the idea that there could be more than one supplier.
But this question, if we are able to provide better stability of quality when I transfer it to my service, so if,
Sure.
If I'm able to provide better quality pictures and a better service, how will that impact your business? Like,
Well,
that's not.
in terms of photography, it's not about quality because you're not
it is.
Talking about-
Hopefully.
It's not about to the customer. It's not about the quality per se. It's about because quality is a very vague and huge concept in photography.
Yeah.
It's about what is kind of concepts you are looking at,
Yeah.
right? How do you want to present your products, your services, your whatever, your corporate image best, right? Sometimes the quality is not about just the quality of the picture itself, but the quality of how you conceptualize the picture.
Yeah.
Right, so it's about you probably will need to think about the ways to that resonate with the customer.
But this question, I wonder if this is a good question because it's like if we are able to provide better.
This will be much later. Probably you can start with things like if you were to do a photo shoot, what would be some of the requirements for the photo shoot? You start with that as a very, very basic questions that will give. Oh, it must look nice. Yes. What else? Right. Since we probably are not the first photographer in this shoot, what will be some of your wish list or selection criteria? So they'll make more. And for this shoot to be perfectly successful, what else do we need to consider? Who will be the final audience to see these photos? What will be their requirements? And go on that. And then once you have all those, then you go into if we are able to create the right shoot for the right audience, and once they see the photo, they go, wow. How does that impact your business? So that's how we can have the combination of different questions. Questions about product needs. What are some that are very specific? What are specs that are required? What would be some of the key objectives that must be achieved for a product? So if the product must be cheap enough, well, maybe not cheap, but the price must be affordable. Yes. What else? Quality must be of certain standards, certain specs must be there. The delivery schedules, after sales, whatever. Certain objectives must be achieved. Even things like payment terms can be objective. Do you pay in cash or must you have payment terms? Right. So, what are some key areas of support do you need? Is there anything about the support you need, and what else? But support can be after sales or even pre-sales. Between price and consistent quality, which will be more important to you? Right, and what will be your biggest priorities? Productivity, reducing defects, or developing new products quality? So this two over here, which is more important, price or consistent quality? Biggest priorities, A, B, or C? These are things when customers are kind of saying, oh, we are just looking at price. We are more, we are just, everyone is about the same, so we're just looking at price. So when customers are saying everyone is about the same, what we want to do is we give them a few choices. So the first one is what we call an A-B choice. We ask them price and consistent quality, not just good quality, but consistent quality, which is more important. Customer may say both are important, but what we want to do is between the two, which one will be more important? 哪个更加重要？两个都重要，但哪个更加重要？ And in terms of priorities, sometimes we need to ask questions to divert the customer's thinking away from price a little bit. We know price is important, but on the other hand, which will be your biggest priorities in your work? Whether it's productivity, reducing defects, or developing new products quickly. In terms of your work, 在做的工作里面，哪些的这个优先的这个考虑点是哪方面？优先选项是哪方面？ That's yours, and if we can match the right price to the right objective, then we can talk about how we can work together. So this is what we want to do, and of course. We just want to emphasize what else. Is there something that we need to know? Right? And things to ask to progress the sale. To sum up, this is what we have discussed. Is that right? Do you have anything to add? Who else? This is just to sum up the meeting. You can have an hour meeting, and it really depends on the customer. Some customer can be very talkative, which is good and bad. The talkative customer is good because they will share with you all kinds of information. So in terms of asking questions, you can get all kinds of answers. The bad thing about the talkative customers is they'll tell you a lot more things that are not relevant. Right? Not relevant to the sale, but could be used for future reference, could be good for future for background knowledge, but not necessarily related to the sale. Right? So they talk about many things. So it's good and bad. So sometimes we need to just have a summary. So we've discussed the key points. And this is something to ask before you end the meeting. Right? So some of this is what we've discussed. Is that right? Do you have anything to add? 还有哪些方面漏掉了？还有哪些重要的方面没提出来？ It's just good sales practice. In fact, a good meeting practice is to sum up at the end of the meeting. This is what we discussed. We both agree. Then, if we were to meet up again, who else should we involve in our future discussions? Again, this is just in case the decision making may not be this customer, can be someone else, or it can be a group decision making, or it can be some users or influencers comments that will be good to involve in. So we just want to find out, if you want to discuss with you further, who else should we involve in our discussions? This is one question that is better than sometimes salespeople know that the customer is not the decision maker. So they ask a very direct question. So next time when I come, can I see your boss? Right, so in a way it is, but it hurts the customer, right? It is my boss who makes the decision, but the way you phrase it, it pissed off the customer, right? So we'll make it more nicer, 婉转一点。What else？ 我们还应该就是参与下次如果来，我们还需要邀请谁来加入我们的这个来讨论。So it can be boss, can be users, can be someone else. So what if we this is if you have a proposed solution. This is what we suggest. We send a proposal, we send a quote, we send something to the customer, and then you follow up with questions as well. It's not true that you ask questions and then you send a proposal and that's it. After you send a proposal, you still need to ask questions. 就有时候我们在做销售培训的时候，好像是你提问了解需求，按照需求提案，然后就结束了。不是的，你提问了解了需求，你提案，提案之后继续提问。Why? Because you never know if that proposal is a perfect fit, right? Or will there be certain obstacles to the customer? So what would be if when I send a proposal, after I send a proposal, what could be some of the concerns with regard to our proposed solution? Proposals, do you have any concerns? What do you think will be our next steps? In B2B selling, there are no clear closing techniques. 如果是商务方面的这个销售，没有说你怎么去 close， 怎么去签单，没有说就是如果你现在不买，马上要涨价。工业品没有这概念。In B2B, it doesn't. You won't tell the customer if you don't buy now, the price will increase. Right? If you don't buy now, we will not have anything in stock. 你再不买，我们就没货。It's not. There are no clear closing techniques. But as a general thing, like I mentioned earlier, in B2B sales, if you get to see the customer the next time, you will be in the game. Right. So as a general closing statement, you can always ask, what do you think we can do for the next steps? What do you suggest is the next steps? 您觉得我们下一步应该怎么做? So if there's a next step, whether the next step is to buy, to meet again, to buy lunch, to tour the factory, to see more people, to give a sample, do a demo, whatever it is, if there's a next step, you're in the game. So this is just something that we do generally as a next step. And of course, what else? Right, so these are some of the things that we can do to progress the sale. And the last step of questioning, these are things you ask only when you're finalizing the deal. You know that the customer is buying. You just need to know how much they're buying, when they're buying, what are the quantities by when, payment terms, when would you like to start, and of course what else. Right, so this are how you structure the questions. These are the questions that are asked only towards the end. The first four, it really depends on how you want to strike the conversation with the customer. And it doesn't mean that in a 1 hour meeting or half an hour meeting, you ask questions all the time. It doesn't mean that. It's just that you need to layer your questions from different angles to make sure you cover the right angles. Right. So, as the last part, to wrap it up, if there's any final tips for successful questioning, the first thing, be curious. You are there to make a sale, you are there to make money from the customer, yes. But before you do that, be really curious about what the customer is doing. That is how you show care, that is how you build the rapport, that is also how you really understand the customer's current situation. Right? That gives you the information and insights to ask more in-depth questions later. Okay, so the first thing is just to be really curious. Number two is prepare your questions. There is this thing about salespeople. Now, we used to do a lot of team building for salespeople and non-salespeople. And a few years ago, one of the key team building that we do was they call laser tag or Counter-Strike, German CS. You shoot each other using laser guns, right? So that's something that was really the rave a few years ago. Now, if we were to do the same game, I mean, if we do this as a team building for companies, we need to tell a story. Otherwise, the HR will not buy, right? So we need to tell a story. We need to say that, oh, this is a game about decision making, strategy, coordination. So that's a story. And we get co-instructors to pose as enemies, as terrorists. So the premise of the game is that the participants are the good guys. The co-instructors, the instructors, are the bad guys. The bad guys are holed up somewhere in the field or somewhere. The good guys need to find out where the bad guys are, kill the bad guys before getting killed, or without getting killed yourself. Right? Then it's mission accomplished. So you need to have strategy, decision making, teamwork, communication, all that in, right? So it's all that. So if we want to do this game to a bunch of technical people, engineers, especially R&D engineers, guess how long they will take to plan before they move out?
90% of the time?
Yeah, but how long? Duration, length.
But how long is the whole duration?
Well, usually the game is about a day or half a day, or a day. So how long do you think they'll take to plan? Well, just cut a long story short, if we don't stop them, if we don't push them, our guess, it will take them 3 days to plan. Right? They'll just keep on planning and analyze every single thing. And guess what is the first thing the engineers will analyze first?
How to work with a weapon?
How to use a weapon.
Yeah.
Right, how to use a weapon, how you should aim, how to make it, how to improve accuracy of the weapon and all that. Analyze every single thing.
How do you know photographers will do that? Yes.
Photographers do that
Just
too.
go and shoot.
Wow, fascinating.
Right, now, on the other hand, if we were to do this with a bunch of salespeople, what do you think will happen?
They're selling each other the bullets.
Let me be the leader.
No, they just bring the guns, the weapons, and just charge, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then when they reach the enemy, they found that they do not know how to use weapon. And then they all got killed. Right, so this is the difference between technical and salespeople. Technical people like to analyze, plan, and think forward. Salespeople don't plan, it's all pure action-oriented. Now, if you want to be successful in sales, you need to be action-oriented. But it helps a lot if you can plan just a little. Right, if you can just plan your questions,
What are the different aspects, different angles you want to ask? What will be some of the situational questions? What will be the different angles you want to ask? We're not saying that you should follow the script strictly, because you never know what are the answers that are coming from the customer. But having that preparation helps you to ask the right questions. From different angles. Yes.
1 week ago, I think I had a meeting with the world's worst salesperson.
Oops.
First, he did not even know his own like product properly, because he just joined the company.
Okay.
So when I asked questions, he couldn't even really answer. You know, but I can't forgive this. But he actually met me without targeting who I am actually and what I'm doing. So that was like.
He was pitching you, not the other way around.
Yeah. So yeah, prepare.
Sure, yeah, be prepared. I mean, if you can find out, we also mentioned about how some salespeople sometimes, or how salespeople sometimes find it difficult to ask questions because we don't know enough about the customer to ask the right questions. So part of preparation could be, how can you find out more about the customer? Right? Besides just going to the website, sometimes if you know the person, finding out on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Finding out on some WeChat groups, you have friend of friends who know this person, right? You can have some news about what the company is doing. Like, are they pending going to have a M&A soon, acquiring someone, being acquired by someone, going to a new business, going to new products? So if you have some of this information up front, it helps you to build a question. Right? So these are some of the basic preparation, not just prepare a lot of time, not spend a lot of time preparing, but some level of preparing will be very helpful. Third thing, again, probably another weakness of salespeople. You don't listen. Listen to the customer. The purpose of you asking questions is to listen. And if you don't listen, then you don't have to ask questions in the first place. So listen, be attentive to the customer's responses, not just what they say, but also their facial expressions, their body language on the whole. So listen fully, and don't just jump in and sell it. Your job is to find out if the customer is a good fit. If there's a good fit, sell. If there's no good fit, don't. Don't jump in when the customer says, yes, I think we have a need for your product. There could be a need, but there could be more about their needs, their situation. So don't just jump in when the customer responds positively. Get more information first, find out more details first, then lead them into your product presentation. Right? So don't be too excited to push to sell whatever you want to sell. Right? So these are some of the 4 tips. And last but not least, if you want to, this is what you can scan. This is our WeChat QR code, and we'll want to send. We'll either send to both. We'll send to here, or you can leave your WeChat with Ethan outside. We'll just send to both Zheng Youquan and as well as over here.
Email would be lovely as well.
In email as well, yes.
That'd be lovely.
Yes.
I have one question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So I met this customer, the client, and there's apparently not needs directly, and I want to follow up, as you said, like how could a follow-up email be phrased, like what it was like?
Sure. In any follow-up, what you need to do is to remind the customer what we have discussed previously. This is the first step. So, a lot of salespeople in the follow-up is like, okay, so are you ready to buy now?
Yeah.
So you don't want to go into straight with that. What you can do is to call the customer and say, hey, hi, I'm just want to follow up based on our last meeting. What we have discussed are the key points, or what you mentioned are the key requirements that you have, 1 through 3. Are there further requirements now? Is it okay that we can have a follow-up discussion next Monday? So the follow-up is not about I want to sell you something or when you want to buy. The follow-up is we discuss about these key points. And based on these key points, can we have further discussion whenever that is? Or depending on what happened in the previous meeting, maybe they are supposed to bring more people to be involved. Right? So again, you start with the key points. This is what we discussed last time, and you mentioned that for this discussion, we actually should involve some of the whatever. Is it okay that we can schedule that meeting next Tuesday, Wednesday? So that follow-up actually depends a lot on how well you end the first meeting.
Yeah.
Even when it's 6 months later, you go on the key point?
Sure, yeah, even 6 months later, even more. About 6 months ago, we had a meeting, and since it was 6 months ago, just let me recap. We discussed about this and this and that and that. Is it and you asked me to call in 6 months. So is it okay that we meet up and just to chat about those various requirements? Other questions?
Thank you.
Right, no other questions? Please, if you have not finished your breakfast, I know it's getting cold, but
It's already frozen.
if it's still and I think there are still more croissants. Sorry. Oh, sorry, you have a question. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Just as you said, sometimes a salesperson is just which brings the two parties together.
Sure.
From one side is customer
Sure.
and another side is
Sure.
your company. And in the beginning, sometimes
Yeah.
you have you know your own company very well.
Mhm.
And sometimes you immediately realize that your company is
Cannot
not able
provide
to
fulfill, yes.
their
Yes.
requirements. So you have to make balance, and sometimes you have to no other choice.
Yes.
Otherwise you will lose the chance. You have to keep something away from the customer. Which kind of things that you may.
Okay, there are what do you call a perfect fit,
Yeah.
and then there are also fits that are not very perfect.
Yeah.
So you need to make a judgment as into, okay, this is something that we can do, but there will be some issues. And if those issues are things that as a salesperson I can run around my company so that I can do the patchwork, and it's worth my while doing the patchwork, then I can still move ahead. 这有些时候就是你要说这个客户能做吗？做是能做，但我们这边嘛，是有些东西是会出一些问题，但这问题呢是可以解决的，只不过我会比较累而已。虽然不是完美的解决，就是我需要做一些事情来做一些弥补。Right, so you gotta make that balance, right? If it's something that you find that it's definitely not what we can do, we will get the sale, but that will be the one and only sale, and then the customer will not ever buy from us again. Then you may rather spend the time and develop other customers, right? So because in sales, especially if you're doing B2B, what you really want is the customer to buy again.
Yeah.
The B2B sales, you have a long, sometimes 2-3 years of business development time just to get the customer in. So if you spend 2-3 years on customer and the customer buy one and hate you forever, it doesn't really justify your 2-3 years or 1-2 years of business development time. Right? For that 1-2 years, you'd rather find some other customer. Right? If that customer is that, okay, their price is not really that high, they're really squeezing a very low price, and for the low price, we can only give kind of an okay product, and we just need to make sure that we do all the patchwork after we do the sale. The customer will not be very happy, but they will also not be very upset either. Right? So it's not something that we are proud of, but then again, it's not something that is totally bad. So yes, it's how you want to make that balance.
If you have network relationships
Yep.
with so-called competitors, but perhaps other companies doing different price points
Mhm.
or different specializations,
Sure.
and it becomes clear to you that this is not a good fit,
Yeah.
you can build long-term rapport and potential bounce back referral by saying, look, I really don't think we're the best provider
Sure. Yes.
for these requirements,
Yes.
but my Pungyo down the street, he's perfect.
Yes.
Let me connect you.
Yes.
You connect them, you get somebody else's sale,
Mhm.
and then that company remembers at
Sure.
some point in the future, wow, they refer them, and they refer you to
Sure.
customers.
It could be that way. You have
That's
a network.
another-
You can always
another
build
perspective.
alliances and all that. It can also be the case where sometimes there are customers that really promise you, okay, we are going to give you huge quantities, massive quantities. Right, you give us a very good price, we give you massive quantities, and we sign even on a contract huge quantities over like long period of time, and then they don't fulfill the quantities. Not only they don't fulfill the quantities, they say, oh, we don't need any service. We'll do the service ourselves. So you can give the lowest possible price. We'll do the service all themselves, and then guess what? They end up with asking all kinds of services without paying for them, right? And then you can say, okay. We booked for 1 year. Number one, the quantity is not, it did not fulfill the quantities, right? Number two, it's supposed to be self-service, and we have been providing a lot of services in the past year. So this year we need to increase the price. And the customer comes back to you and say, no, this year we are having cost down. So instead of you price down, we have to cost you down. All right? And this is the kind of customers that are totally a nightmare. Right, nightmare in the sense that you are really losing money on the customer. Losing money in the sense that the low price, maybe you still have some margins for the low price, but because they require all kinds of services, and you providing the services, you're actually losing money on other hidden costs. So when it's such a case, there are two things. One is increase price no matter what.
Absolutely.
Right, you may lose a customer, but if you don't increase price, you are losing money, and that's really bad. And the more the customer buy, the more you lose money. Right? So it's doubly bad. So you have to increase price. Number two is that if you increase price and the customer really don't want to work with you, the next best thing is to refer them to your worst competitor. 你把他们介绍给你最糟的那个竞争对手。Right? You
你这样
outsource the
说
pro-
吗？
Huh?
你真的这样说出来吗？
No, we don't.
Okay.
But we don't count it, but
Let
we
me
somehow
introduce
find a
my-
way so that we
No.
we'll have that problem and give it to the worst competitor. Let them have the problem.
Wow. What a take on what I said. That's incredible.
Only for the worst kind of customer. No.
It's about upgrading customer quality
Yes.
and getting rid of poor quality customers.
Yes. Well, also, I mean, there's definitely a spectrum of different customers. We have always the best customers, and we have all the kind of okay, 马马虎虎还可以 those kind of customers. And by and large, definitely we treat customers with respect. We respect whether you are the best customers, you pay top dollar for the full suite of services, pay on time and everything. And we got customers with internal challenges that probably does not have the kind of budget, probably will have payment terms issues and things like that. We treat them all with respect. Right? But it's just that the certain kinds of customers, basically in business terms, it just doesn't make sense. And then they make a big hoo-ha over little nitty-gritties like this. And so generally, what we do is, no matter what kind of customers, as long as they're a customer, salespeople treat them with the due respect. Further questions? Right, no further questions. It's 10:01. And if you want to stay for more fruits, more croissants, and more coffee, the coffee is good. Please feel free. And if not, we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have create a WeChat
Group.
Yes, face-to-face group. Okay. You can join this group by enter the phone number 4007. I can also provide the instruction how to